All right, let's jump right in. We're going to explore a story about what happens when the systems we build to keep everything neat and tidy just combust. And what we find underneath is all the raw, chaotic energy they were holding back the whole time.
So, our story kicks off with this chilling thought. This isn't just some accident, right? This fire is an event, something that was supposed to happen. And for our main character, well, he's only just beginning to grasp the terrifying scale of it all. So here's our guy, Brother Thomas, standing in the courtyard, just watching 20 years of his life's work, literally transcribing old manuscripts, go up in smoke. But here's the thing. This is no ordinary fire. It feels methodical, almost intelligent, and it's turning his quiet, disciplined world into this surreal inferno. And you gotta look closer at how this fire is moving. It's not just spreading wildly, no. It's flowing in these beautiful, intricate spirals and fractals. It even seems to pause at doorways, like it's making a choice. And that's our first real clue that there's some force at play here that's way bigger than just combustion. And then, Sister Margaret shows up, but she's not panicking. Not at all. She's fascinated. And what she says, it's not just a casual comment. It's the key that unlocks this entire mystery. You see, where Thomas sees nothing but total ruin, she sees a revelation. And this is where it all clicks. The lid comes right off the chaos that's been bubbling underneath. Margaret drops this bombshell. She didn't start the fire. She just stopped preventing it. It turns out, for decades, their work was never really about preservation. It was about suppression. So the big idea here, the thing you have to wrap your head around, is that all those protective incantations and rituals they were doing, they weren't just symbolic. They were literal. A kind of magic that was actively holding back this immense, raw energy simmering just beneath the surface of their reality.
And you can really see that contrast right here. On one side, you've got the meticulous, rigid order they built through sheer repetition, and on the other, the boiling pressure of the chaos it was containing. Margaret's metaphor is just perfect. They built a lid for a boiling pot, and sooner or later, that pressure had to go somewhere. Okay, so now things get even weirder. We get to the idea of the fire that reads, because the real purpose of these flames is becoming terrifyingly clear. It's not just burning the library, it's reading it.
And all of a sudden, all that static knowledge becomes kinetic. The actual ink, the letters that Thomas spent his entire life copying, they start to peel away from the page, getting sucked into the fire itself. But they don't just burn up and vanish. No way. They start to reform in the air, creating new sentences, new ideas, new configurations. The fire is literally deconstructing their entire library of knowledge and reassembling it into something brand new. So, seeing all of this, you can imagine what's going through Brother Thomas's head. He just asked the only question that makes any sense. With his whole reality dissolving around him, this seems like the only logical answer. Is this hell? Is this the end of everything? But Margaret's answer, wow, it's incredible. She just completely collapses that whole idea of good versus evil. It's not one or the other, it's both, and it always has been. The only thing that's changed is that they've stopped pretending. They've peeled back that illusion of simple order, and now they're facing the awesome, terrifying complexity of reality itself. And that brings us to this amazing moment, a kind of marriage of opposites. The climax of all this chaos doesn't lead to an ending. Instead, it leads to this stunning transformation, where destruction and creation just merge. They become a single, unified process. And what comes out of this is just breathtaking. The fire forms this giant sphere of burning words, a kind of celestial dance where chaos organizes itself into structure, and then that structure dissolves right back into chaos. And from it, new books just materialize on the shelves, written in languages that don't even exist yet. The fire is creating so much more than it ever destroyed. And this is it. This is the turning point for our protagonist. He finally gets it. He sees the truth, not as some terrifying paradox, but as this beautiful, necessary union. He finally accepts that existence isn't about order or chaos. It's about the marriage of the two. And with that acceptance, his real work can finally begin. Brother Thomas's whole role gets completely redefined. He's no longer just a passive copier of the past, he has to become an active transcriber of a new, unfolding reality. And he says it himself, this becomes his new mission.
He has to watch this divine, chaotic process and write it down to create a new layer of order, a new map for whoever comes next. And he knows, it's just one more layer on top of an infinite mystery.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? What the work actually is. It's not just copying old texts. It's this continuous, difficult, beautiful human act of confronting the unknown and trying to create meaning from it. It's drawing these temporary lines through an infinite darkness and having the courage to call them a path.
And so the story just kind of leaves us with this question. It turns the mirror on us, really. It challenges us to look at our own lives, our own rigid structures, our own beliefs. What powerful creative chaos might we be holding back, and what new worlds could be born from those ashes if we just stopped preventing the fire?